Can somebody do me a favor? Can somebody figure out what the heck Joe Biden is even talking about? I want you to listen to him yell at the American people and tell me what he's talking about.
And just what I just described you. You're the ones who make that possible. We owe you. You shouldn't be vilified. You provide the safe neighborhoods. You provide the good schools. It's about being able to own your home and not just rent it. It's being able to live in a safe neighborhood where your kids can walk the streets, where there's a playground that's not polluted, where you can send your kid to a decent school, knowing if they do well, they got a chance to go to college, and if they have that chance, knowing you have a chance to get them there. That's what being a middle-class person is. That's what this is about. To me, being middle class is not a number. It's a way of life. It's a value set. It's about a minimum standard of living.
What? It's what? He's talking to the government union workers. He's not talking to the general population. He's delivering a speech to the AFSCME, the Federal and State Workers Union. Now I don't even know where to begin on this. Let's start with the being middle class is about a guaranteed minimum standard of living. That all Americans would have at least a middle-class lifestyle? Where is this one coming from, Karl Marx? I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Who decides what the minimum standard of living is? You know what? Once everyone is up to at least middle-class level, and there's no one below that level, assuming we still have wealthy people, doesn't the middle class then become the bottom class? Don't you have a right to be in between the really rich and the bottom? And tell me exactly how that fits into the scriptures where Jesus says the poor will always be among you. We're going to do something that Jesus says can't be done. That's fantastic. Won't people, if you get rid of the bottom class and make everybody middle class, which then becomes the bottom class, and there is no middle class, it's just upper class and bottom class, which is actually middle class, doesn't everybody either get A, confused, B, up at the top, give up, or C, if you're now the bottom class, actually middle class, aren't you pissed off? When did America become a place of guaranteed outcomes? We've been about opportunity, not guaranteed outcomes, and really not even guaranteed opportunity. There's no guarantee. Not everybody's going to have the same opportunity. Now, we're supposed to be a country that doesn't guarantee, or that we do guarantee that you're not going to be held back from opportunity because of the color of your skin, maybe the content of your character. But not the color of your skin. If you can do it, you can do it. Guaranteed opportunity. That's not what Joe Biden is even preaching about here.
It's about being able to own your home and not just rent it. It's being able to live in a safe neighborhood where your kids can walk the streets, where there's a playground that's not polluted, where you can send your kid to a decent school, knowing if they do well, they got a chance to go to college, and if they have that chance, knowing you have a chance to get them there. That's what being a middle-class person is. That's not asking too much. That's who we are.
Joe, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling all the time? What is it that's making you so angry? I mean, it's okay, man. We all have a chance. We all have a chance, Joe. About 20 million kids enrolled in colleges and universities last fall. That's 4.4 million more kids than in 2000. So again, what are you shouting about all the time? Whatever is pissing him off, he wasn't done screaming. He just finished up by yelling at the gathering of government workers union people, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and he said this.
And just what I just described you. You're the ones who make that possible.
What?
We owe you. You shouldn't be vilified. You provide the safe neighborhoods. You provide the good schools. You provide the school lunch program. You provide the daycare centers. You provide the hospitals. You provide the roads. You provide the ability of people to live a decent middle-class life. We owe you. God bless you, and may God protect our troops.
Wait a minute. This is insane. If you're talking about charitable people, if you're talking about that, then okay, maybe, but even those people are doing it by choice. I'm sorry. Don't we pay the county and the city and the federal workers? Are we paying them? In fact, aren't we paying most of them more than the average American? They are not even middle class, Joe. The average federal salary is like $110,000? The average American salary is about $40,000.
Salary and benefits, it's $120,000.
It's crazy. It's crazy. These aren't middle class.
Well compensated.
They're well compensated. We compensate them, right? Let me see. Hang on just a second. I'm paying them, and I'm paying them more than I pay anybody else. I'm paying them. I'm paying for the building. I'm paying for the heat. I'm paying for their computers. I'm paying for their flights. I'm paying for their cars. I'm paying for their retirement packages. I'm paying for their health care. But I owe them? What the hell do I owe them for? See, Joe, let me explain it to you. Here's how it works in America. For instance, I'm in the radio business. You're listening to me on the radio. A lot like television, Joe, where people, that device that people flipped on in 1929 to listen to FDR talk about. It's kind of like that. Yeah. I provide my employer a service. I do a show. That's what they needed. They needed a show at this time period. So I do a show. They pay me money out of the money that they make from this show. Now, what I do is I give them a show that people want to listen to. And then the listeners listen to it or don't. I like to call listeners sometimes customers. Even though the customer isn't always right. Generally, yes, but not always. They come in, they listen, they like it. They purchase with their time. They purchase and they listen, and they're like, yeah, I listen to that. And in return, my company pays me. Now, I have never gone to Premier and said, you owe me. Never. You know what? You owe me big. Here's how it worked. We negotiated my salary, and they pay me. And they pay me as they go. We agreed to it when I was hired. So they don't owe me. Unless they stop paying me, then they owe me. But they've paid me for the service that I give them. Done. That's the way it works, Joe. It's the most bizarre speech I think I've ever heard. This guy gives bizarre speeches. I don't think I've ever heard anything quite so bizarre. Let's recap this here for a second. We owe union workers for the job that we pay them to do handsomely. They will retire with more benefits than we'll retire with. But somehow or another, we owe them. Help me understand that one. But Biden also wants minimum wages so we can have the guaranteed jobs and specific wage for every single American. Guaranteed. That is so very Soviet Union 1967. That is so beautiful. Oh, that was a good year. Oh, it was great. The communists did it as well. Chairman Mao, you might know him. Check the Christmas tree at the White House. Apparently, we also need to guarantee a college education for all, which is, that is so Soviet Union as well. It's almost Castro. It's Hugo Chavez. It is fantastic. So on top of the 12 years of education, 12. My grandfather was the chief machinist at Boeing. He got 4 years of education. That's it. He did the rest himself. Same with me. But we got to provide 12 years of education, which is great. And education done by these union workers so poorly that our kids are practically coming out retarded. And we owe them. And we owe the students that can't tell you jack crap about what's going on. They can't figure out, there's no critical thinking. What we need to do is give them another 4 years. And after that, maybe we should give them another 4 years after that. And then we owe them a job. Well, that's fantastic. Here's what you need to take from this. First of all, to Joe Biden. Joe, yelling Marxist principles at an American audience doesn't make the principles sound more American. It just makes them sound like really loud Marxist principles. And you, take this away. We're on to them, and they realize it. They know, which is why they are so incredibly desperate right now. They're all over the map. They're manic depressive. They have no idea. I'll tell you the documents that I'm going to produce for you. Oh, Congress, you don't want me to produce those documents. Yes, we do. No, you don't. Yes, we do. No, I'm telling you, you don't. Oh, I'm getting them. Oh, I'm getting them. Okay, go get them. I'm not playing that game. I'm not producing those documents. I know how you work. The hell are you even talking about? I think 4 years ago, think back 4 years ago, they really truly believed that you would stay asleep. They really truly believed you didn't even exist. They really truly believe they are the 99. They don't realize they're the 1. Or let's be honest, about the 7. They're about 7%. They don't realize that a majority of Americans are going, these guys are crazy. And the majority of Americans can't agree on anything, but we're beginning to agree on these guys are nuts. They now know things are different. They weren't counting on you. They weren't counting on the 9/12 Project. Friday, we're doing a show on TV about global warming. Talked to one of the main guys on Agenda 21. He said, even in California, where it is already law, the 9/12 Project now is so strong in California that they're having to change the regulations to keep the 9/12 Project out of any of the meetings because they can't deal with them. Because the 9/12 Project is on to them. And things are changing on Agenda 21, even in California. They had no clue. Van Jones said it just recently in some speech. He was like, we really didn't see the Tea Party. We didn't count on those guys. We have them. But we got to finish the job. We got to get registered to vote. We got to get everybody we know to register to vote. We got to get everybody we know at the polls. We have to continue to educate ourselves, and we have to promise we're never going to go back to sleep again. Now, I know we did that after 9/11, but we have to do it. When Romney is elected, hear me clearly, when Romney is elected, we cannot go back to sleep. If he's doing the same crap, call him on the carpet just as much. This is the home stretch to November. We have to be more committed, more activated. We have to live it. We have to be creative in our thought now more than ever. And then we win. Back in a second.